Do you believe that members of the Weaponization Working Group need to abide by the Justice Department manual? Yes or no?
Senator, as a career federal
I'm asking you
prosecutor,
a simple question,
I am
yes
very
or no.
well familiar with the U.S. Department of Justice manual.
I'm glad you are. Do you feel the manual applies to people in the Weaponization Working Group? Do they have to abide by it? Yes or no?
Senator, as you know,
why is that a difficult question for you to answer? Do you believe that members of the Weaponization Work Group have to abide by ethical practices?
Senator, all Department of Justice employees every day.
Is that a yes?
Every day.
I'm asking a very specific question, not about all department employees, but about employees in the Weaponization Working Group. Do they have to abide by the Justice Department manual? Yes or no?
A Senate confirmation hearing just turned into something nobody expected. A sitting United States senator spent his entire allotted time asking the same question over and over, getting no direct answer, and then the committee chairman refused to help him get one. By the end of this video, you will understand exactly why that question was never going to get a straight answer, and what was actually at stake in that room. If that does not make you want to stay until the end, nothing will.
Mr. McDonald, were you part of the DOJ's Weaponization Working Group?
Senator, as referenced earlier in some questioning during the hearing today, the Weaponization Working Group, as commissioned by the President.
A simple yes or no would do. Were you part of the Weaponization Working Group?
Senator, as I referenced earlier in questions before the panel, the Weaponization Working Group, as commissioned by the President and then the Attorney General,
I still haven't gotten an answer. Were you involved with the Weaponization Working Group, yes or no? It's a simple question. You were either involved with it or you weren't.
Senator, as referenced earlier.
Yes or no, Mr. McDonald?
Senator, as I referenced earlier.
I'm not interested in what you referenced earlier. I'm asking you a simple question right now, not earlier, but right now. Were you part of the Weaponization Working Group at Justice, yes or no?
Senator, as I referenced earlier,
okay, you're not going to answer the question. You're not going to answer the question.
Was rightly
I don't know why you won't answer a simple question, but let me ask you a different question. Do you believe that members of the Weaponization Working Group need to abide by the Justice Department manual? Yes or no?
Senator, as a career federal prosecutor,
I'm asking you a simple question,
I am very well familiar with the U.S. Department of Justice manual.
I'm glad you are. Do you feel the manual applies to people in the Weaponization Working Group? Do they have to abide by it? Yes or no?
Senator, as you know,
why is that a difficult question for you to answer? Do you believe that members of the Weaponization Work Group have to abide by ethical practices?
Senator, all Department of Justice employees every day.
Is that a yes?
Every day.
I'm asking a very specific question, not about all department employees, but about employees in the Weaponization Working Group. Do they have to abide by the Justice Department manual, yes or no?
Senator, all Department of Justice employees.
So that's a yes?
Operate within the provisions of the Justice manual.
Mr. McDonald, is that a yes?
Senator, I would refer you to the answer that I just gave.
Or is the Weaponization Working Group something different? Are you suggesting that it's different, that it doesn't have to abide by the ethics manual, that it doesn't have to abide by ethics at all? Why are you refusing to answer a simple question?
Senator, I'm not refusing to answer your question.
Well, do the members of the working group have to abide by the Justice Department manual?
Senator, as I referenced in my previous answer, all Department of Justice employees.
I'm not interested in your previous answers. You can't answer a simple question, or you won't, which leads me to suspect you believe they don't have to apply, they don't have to live up to the standards of the Justice Manual. So let me ask you a different question. In your time working with this group, did you ever observe any of the other members of the Weaponization Working Group violate the Justice Department manual, yes or no?
Senator, the Weaponization Working Group has been working to illuminate the facts.
I'm not interested in a filibuster of an answer. Did you observe members of the working group, or did you yourself violate the Justice Department manual?
Senator, as referenced in prior answers,
so let me ask you another question.
The Weaponization Working Group has been working.
Did you witness members of the weaponization working group mishandle grand jury material?
Senator,
Did that
as
come to
I
your
referenced
attention?
earlier,
I'm not interested in
the
what you referenced
weaponization
earlier.
working group
I'm
has been
interested-
working
I'm
to
interested-
understand
Mr.
the
McDonald?
facts and events
Mr. Mc-
underlying
Mr. Chairman.
significant
Mr. Chairman?
weaponization of the government
Mr. Chairman?
during the Biden administration.
Mr. Chairman, I'm asking for a simple question. I would ask your help in getting a direct answer. I've asked the witness whether he believes members of the weaponization working group at the Justice Department need to abide by the Justice Department's own justice manual. Would you assist me in getting an answer to that question?
No, I will not assist you.
Okay. Well, you have the chairman's support in not answering the question, so let me try another question. Or let me see if I can get clarity again. Did you ever witness any of the members of the working group violate rules regarding grand jury secrecy? Yes or no?
Senator, as I referenced in my prior testimony, the weaponization working group
You won't
is
answer that
working
question.
diligently to
So
understand the historic abuses and
one last question
weaponization
and
of
see
the
if you're
Department
willing
of
to
Justice
answer it.
in the Biden
Mr.
administration.
McDonald, did you ever witness anyone in the weaponization working group violate the law? Yes or no?
Senator, I would refer you to my prior answer.
Your prior answer was to obfuscate, and it's become very clear you're unwilling to answer very simple questions, because it's very clear what that weaponization group is all about, and that is using the awesome powers of the Department of Justice to go after the president's enemies. I yield back, Mr. Chairman.
A Senate confirmation hearing just turned into something nobody expected. A sitting United States senator spent his entire allotted time asking the same question over and over, getting no direct answer, and then the committee chairman refused to help him get one. By the end of this video, you will understand exactly why that question was never going to get a straight answer, and what was actually at stake in that room. If that does not make you want to stay until the end, nothing will. There are two kinds of moments in a Senate hearing. There are moments where a senator asks a tough question and gets a tough answer. And there are moments where the question itself tells you everything you need to know about the person asking it. What happened in this confirmation hearing for Colin McDonald, the nominee to lead the Fraud Enforcement Division at the Department of Justice, was firmly the second kind. Senator Adam Schiff walked into that hearing with a very specific objective. He was not there to understand the nominee. He was not there to evaluate qualifications or probe judicial philosophy. He came with one question, dressed up 7 different ways, and he repeated it until his time expired. Were you part of the weaponization working group? Do members of that group have to follow the Justice Department manual? Did you witness any violations? Did you see grand jury material mishandled? Did anyone break the law? On the surface, that looks like rigorous oversight. Dig one layer deeper and a very different picture comes into focus. The Weaponization Working Group was formed to examine how the machinery of federal law enforcement was used during the previous administration to pursue political targets. That is a serious inquiry, the kind of inquiry that makes certain people in Washington extremely uncomfortable, not because the inquiry is improper, but because of what a thorough inquiry might surface. McDonald, to his credit, did not take the bait. He kept referring back to prior testimony. He acknowledged that all Justice Department employees operate within established guidelines. He was careful, measured, and deliberate. Schiff framed that carefulness as evasion. But there is a real argument that what McDonald was doing was exactly what a nominee for a sensitive law enforcement position should do, which is refuse to be walked into a trap disguised as a civics lesson. Here is the trap. If McDonald confirms he was part of the working group, Schiff uses that to paint a target on his confirmation. If McDonald says the group operated outside normal guidelines, Schiff uses that to call for an investigation. If McDonald says the group followed every rule to the letter, Schiff pivots to asking whether he witnessed violations. Every answer leads to the same destination, which is a headline that creates doubt about the nominee before he ever takes the job. That is not oversight. That is litigation strategy applied to a confirmation hearing. Now here is the part that requires honest examination from every American regardless of how they vote. The Fraud Enforcement Division at the Justice Department exists to investigate and prosecute large-scale financial crimes. That includes crimes involving federal funding, grant programs, contracts, and the flow of taxpayer money through organizations that receive government support. That is an enormous mandate. It touches virtually every corner of how Washington operates and how federal dollars move from the Treasury into communities across the country. When a senator spends his entire time at a confirmation hearing for the man who would lead that division trying to disqualify him on procedural grounds before the job even begins, the question worth asking is why that particular division, why that particular nominee, and why that particular line of questioning? You do not have to subscribe to any specific theory to find that question worth asking. Good government demands that the people charged with following the money be allowed to do so without political interference from the moment they are nominated. When that process gets weaponized before the job even starts, the American taxpayer is the one who loses regardless of party. Schiff yielded back without getting a single direct answer. The chairman declined to assist him, and McDonald sat there with the calm of a man who understood exactly what was happening and had no intention of being pulled into it. Whether you think the weaponization working group was a legitimate investigative effort or an overreach of executive authority, the confirmation process for the people who would follow up on its findings deserves better than what happened in that room. It deserves direct engagement with qualifications, track record, and legal philosophy, not an extended attempt to land a procedural knockout before the bell rings. What we witnessed was a senator more interested in protecting a narrative than in performing the constitutional function his office requires. And whether the cameras catch it or not, the American people are paying attention to the difference. That is your full breakdown. If this gave you something to think about, hit that like button right now, share this with someone who needs to see it, and make sure you subscribe, because the stories that matter most are rarely the ones getting the loudest coverage, and we are going to keep covering them. See you in the next one.